Letter from Bishop Juvenaly of Tula and Odoevsky to Patriarch Tikhon of Moscow and all Russia, November 6, 1920. Published according to an abridged text published by Hegumen Andronicus Trubachev, The Athonite Dispute About the Name of God and Its Subsequent Fate. Pravoslavnaya Beseda number 4, 2039. Your Eminence, Most Gracious Archpastor. Back in May of this year, Nikolai Mikhailovich Solovyov and Vladimir Andreevich Szymanski wrote to me, in which they pointed out the plight of the Athonite monks who call themselves name worshippers, who have been within the borders of Russia for 7 years now and are dying without any instructions or church burial, and asked me to take part in alleviating their terrible situation, since many of them, according to them, are suffering completely innocently, being under church prohibition, not having been tested in the truth of orthodoxy, and also asked me to talk with at least some of them living in Moscow and the Moscow diocese, in order to be convinced of their orthodoxy. Soon after this, they brought to me the Athonite monk Irenaeus, and then the Athonite monks Peter and Manasseh. Almost at the same time, I had to meet Father Archimandrite David. From my personal, repeated conversations with them and my acquaintance over the course of 5 months, I am fully convinced that they are orthodox, and I have not noticed anything heretical in their judgments. Monk Irenaeus, with the blessing of your Eminence, was even sent to you by me for a personal conversation with him, and, as you have deigned to tell me, your Eminence also did not see anything heretical in him. Based on the above and at the personal request of these Athonite monks, I take the liberty to humbly ask your Eminence to lift the ecclesiastical ban imposed on Archimandrite David, former abbot of the St. Andrew's Skeet on Athos, and the monks of the Athonite Panteleimon Monastery, Irenaeus, Peter and Manasseh, and to add that Father David and Father Irenaeus now live in the chapel of St. Nicholas on Taganka in Moscow, and Father Peter in the Nikolo-Peskov Monastery of the Moscow Diocese, and, inaudible, Manasseh is with his brother within the boundaries of the Moscow Diocese. It must have been this petition that prompted St. Tikhon to enter into communion with the name worshippers and lift the bans on them. According to available information in the early 1920s, St. Patriarch Tikhon repeatedly served with Father David in Moscow. In 1921, public discussions and readings on the issue of name worship began to be held in Moscow, and in 1922 a name worshipping circle was formed, the purpose of which was to familiarize church circles with name worshipping and to develop formulations that would satisfy the name worshippers and be accepted by the future local council. 7. Do you and your bishop recognize Patriarch Tikhon Belavan as legitimate, who preserved the purity of orthodoxy? 7. We recognize Patriarch Tikhon as legitimate and honor his confession, expressed in the most difficult spiritual struggle with theomachy. We know that his decree of February 19th, 1921, number 3244, contains the following statement. When venerating the name of God, his name is not to be considered the essence of God, not to be separated from God, not to be revered as a special divinity, not to adore letters and sounds and random thoughts about God. This opinion clearly contains the name-glorifying teaching on the inseparability of the name of God from God, and thus fundamentally contradicts the main thesis of message of the Holy Synod of 1913, where the name of God is presented as only a name, that is, a simple human word. Therefore, we do not consider it possible to speak unequivocally about the Patriarch's unorthodoxy, as some of his modern accusers do.